Hello my sweets, it's Keisha. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm joining in collaboration with two of my favorite YouTube friends. One is Carrie over at Mama Dares to DIY, and the other is Sukaina over at Terrariums and Crafts. Our theme today is Farmhouse Decor. So when you're done watching my video, be sure to check out the playlist in the description box below. I'll be sharing how I made this adorable salt and pepper caddy out of scrap paint sticks. It's not only functional, but can also be decorative. And who doesn't love something with dual functions? All right, let's get started. So this project, or this DIY, when I first got the second set of sticks out, I had a completely different idea as to what I thought I was going to make, and it wasn't going to work. So I had to think of something else, and I decided that I would like to make a salt and pepper shaker holder. And this was sort of inspired by Carrie over at Mama Dares to DIY, by her cutting board caddy that she did. So I'm going to be doing a miniature version of it to hold the salt and pepper shaker. So it just so happens that a lot of these pieces are ready, set, go to fit these already. So hopefully I can make it happen. So the first thing that I want to do is figure out my base piece. And I think I'm going to end up using this one here. I think that's going to work. Or I hope it's going to work. Anyway, so we'll save this one off to the side for the base. And actually I'm going to just write a little so I don't get mixed up. Now the next thing I need to do is figure out these are going to go like this in here. So I need to figure out, because this doesn't fit once you get these two pieces here, and this is like really snug already. This is too small, so I'm going to need to do some cutting. So I need to find the flat sides of this first. I need to do some sanding as well. So I'm going to need to cut two of these, it looks like. Okay, so the pieces have been cut down, and then I sanded them here with this a piece of sandpaper from this pack that I got from Dollar Tree. And so I'm going to move those to the side, and the next step that I'm going to do is drill a hole in the handle to fit this wood dowel. So what I did was I taped my two, what are going to be the handle areas, together, so that when I drill in one spot. So I marked down the center, and then about 1 inch down from the top. I believe that's going to be okay looking there. I'm gonna start with the 1/8 inch, 1/8 inch drill bit to start with, just so that hopefully the wood doesn't split, because I need to go up to a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to start with 1/8 and then move up to the 3/16 and then the 1/4 inch bit. So I gave the holes a little bit of a sand on both sides. And so now the next step that I'm going to do is mark center on these, because remember earlier I said that these were going to be a little bit small for the box, so this is going to help. Well, this is going to be the sides of the box, and then the handles will be attached. So I need to make sure that these are centered on here. So I'll be using some wood glue and some hot glue. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to work on is putting the sides on. And I think that the way I want to do it, because I was sitting here thinking about how I wanted to place these on. If I wanted to place them with the handle on the inside, the handle on the outside. And if I put the handle on the outside, then I want it to be, all of this to be flush. If that makes any sense. I don't want this to be bumped out like that. I prefer it to have a cleaner edge there. And so what's going to be the deciding factor on that? This is so hard when you don't have like 4 arms, or at least 4 hands. Okay, so they'll still fit in there. So I think I'm gonna put, no, not think. I know I'm going to put it on the, so that it's on the outside and that it's flush there. So. So I'm gonna let that glue set up for a little while and I'll be back. The glue has had plenty of time to set up. So as you can see, this thing is nice and sturdy. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So I was testing out the base piece that I had set to the side before, and I realized that it was going to be a little too loose. So I did go ahead and cut a new base piece from another scrap piece that I had. So this one here is going to fit very snugly down here into the bottom of our caddy here. And see, it's already in, new base. And so what I'm going to do at this point is just take a bead of hot glue and secure that in on the seams here. All right, and we'll just set that right here to set up. Now, for our cross dowel, I know I'm gonna have to cut that down a bit to fit in there. And as these things usually go, as I'm sitting here waiting for glue to dry or whatever I'm gonna do for my next step, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cute to put some little beads on the end? So I have these 12 millimeter beads that I purchased on Amazon that are plain, or these Dollar Tree beads. I'm going to go ahead and use the Amazon ones just because I don't have to paint these. But if this is what you have, you know, go ahead and use these and paint them. Or if you enjoy the pop of color, then leave that pop of color on there. So we're going to set these to the side. And I'm going to end up needing 2 of these. And so I think that'll look really nice on the end. So to address the side with the hole in it, what I'm going to do is take a little of this wood filler and just swipe a little bit over the edge. This is a natural color and it is stainable and paintable. Another option if you don't have this is Dollar Tree does have spackling. I understand that some places Dollar Tree does have the wood putty. I have not encountered that at any of the stores that I go to. Another option is I've seen people just simply use hot glue. Alright, so we'll let those sit there and set up. And I think this is cool now, yes. So we're gonna stick this dowel in. That's a tight fit. And then I'm going to mark this one here, or this side. And see about getting this cut. Now these are some dog nail trimmers from Dollar Tree that I have not tried it to actually cut the dowel, but I hear that it works great. I was actually using these to cut floral stems. I'm just gonna pinch and rotate. Not bad. So I'm going to give this a little sand. Maybe just a moment. So I think if I were to do that again, I think it's a good method of cutting the dowel. I think just mine weren't sharp from cutting metal, so I'll probably keep those for cutting the floral stems and get another set just specifically for the wooden dowels. So this is actually ready here. We'll test fit it one more time just to make sure that it's going to be the right length. And there it is. And once these get dried, you're just going to stick it over that hole on either side. And I think that'll be a cute little finish for that. Alright, so while we're waiting on the putty, I wanted to address these. I've seen quite a few ways. We don't, in our household, we don't actually use salt and pepper shakers per se, but I think these would be really cute for decoration. So I'm going to spray paint these. Yeah, I'm going to spray paint these and then see what else I can get into with the tops. Since we don't use them, once I spray paint them, they, especially if I do the top, they won't be able to actually hold any food items. You can choose not to do this step if you, or at least not the top, this top piece that's going to come in contact with food. If you just do the outside of the container, then I don't see why you couldn't use it for food. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. I just wouldn't put it in anywhere that's going to come in contact with food. All right, so I'm going to go and spray paint these and I will be back. While the spray paint is drying on the salt and pepper shaker bottles, I did, first, let me go back. I decided not to paint the tops just because one day we might end up using them as their intended purpose. So I went ahead and left those out, and I only painted the outside of the actual container. So at this point, I am going to heat this up a little bit with my heat gun to see if I can help it dry faster, and then sand it, and then we will start working on our actual box. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a sand. Here they are. Excuse my filthy fingers. I got spray paint on them. So now we're going to go ahead and just glue this down onto and that's how that looks. We have our bottom end. I think it's looking really cute. So when someone says, "Can you pass the salt and pepper?" you can just grab your caddy, and that's how I imagine it. So now next we're gonna add some paint to this, but what I'm gonna do is water down these paints, and this color that I have in this container here is actually FolkArt and Coffee Bean, and I'll have everything that I use listed down in the description box below. And also, if you're interested in purchasing a heat gun, which you don't have to use a heat gun, you can, use a hairdryer if you have that on hand, or you can just let it naturally air dry. But I'll have a link for the particular heat gun that I use. I've had it since November or December of last year. I don't remember exactly, but I love it. I'll be watering them down just to give it like a more of a stained effect rather than a painted on look. So the next one is going to be Mineral Waverly chalk paint, and this one is Antique White by Apple Barrel. So I'm going to start with the brown color. Oops, it looks like it didn't. I guess maybe I didn't shake this up good enough. Make sure you shake your paints really well. This one was kind of chunky, and it's a newer paint. I haven't had it that long, so I don't know why it's so chunky. We're just gonna next color, which is the Mineral. The Mineral, this one's watered down again. And we're just gonna go over this. I think I'm gonna use this chip brush. See how this one works. Looks like I took off all of the color. This is the Apple Barrel Antique White. So it's not a white, it's a creamy. I'm just going to do this a little bit to see how that's going to come in. Okay, so our caddy here is finished drying, and I'm going to add a little more detail to it. So I'm taking some of these jewels here that I got from Dollar Tree. I wish I had smaller ones, but these are gonna work for where I'm gonna put them, which is gonna be on the side here. If I had smaller ones, if I had smaller ones, I'd place them here, but I think I'm just going to take a dotting tool for now and just do a couple of dots for those. But for these, if I can get this open, I am going to give them a coat of this is chalk paint in Elephant Gray by Waverly. Set that off to the side, dry a little bit. And then I did bring in, I brought in the salt and pepper shaker, and what I thought was black is actually oil rubbed bronze. I think they turned out beautiful. I guess it was a happy mistake, but this is what we have here with these. And again, I did not paint the lids, and I taped off and stuffed napkins and taped that down so that no paint would get inside of the container. So I'm thinking I want to add this lace to it. Now, right now I'm using these for decorative purposes, and I have seen people tie the twine on them. I want to do something a little bit different by using a little piece of this Dollar Tree lace. So what my thought to do is actually weave this twine in and out, so I can create kind of a little collar that ties it, so that if I ever want to use it for food purposes, then I can just untie this. Untie this and remove it, and it would still be something that's functional as well as decorative, if I'm making any sense. So I'm going to find my tape. To wrap around the end of the twine here. To create sort of like a little needle. I guess that was sorry about that. All right, so we got this set up here, and the idea is to weave it in and out. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. I'm going to cut this with my pinking shears. Right there. And then I bring this back down here a little bit so I'm not wasting too much twine. Okay, so I've got it tied here, and then I'm gonna tighten it and remember how to tie a bow. Okay. And then even out the gathers a little bit. Oh my goodness, if this isn't the cutest. I mean, I'm not trying to be like I'm the best or whatever, but that sounded, I'm not conceited. I just think it's really cute. Let me cut this little blue piece off here, one piece of tape, and finesse this bow a little bit. And this can either end up being the front or the back. I actually prefer this to be the front, but if you don't want the bow or the opening showing, it totally doesn't have to be. This is cute also. And then it's removable, so if you need to wash the container and clean it up, it's not permanent. It's not that you have to remove any hot glue. You just simply untie it, and if you need to wash this, you know, throw it in a little garment bag, or if you have like a spare pantyhose, just tie it up in that and give it a quick little wash. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one and do the second coat on those jewels, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I did give these jewels a second coat, and before I move on, I just wanted to let you know that on the ruffle for the lace here, the measurement that I used to get the ruffle, it ended up being 8 inches, and then it was ruffled down to fit around the salt shaker, pepper shaker. So the next step for these is to, I'm gonna be adding just another couple layers of paint. This one is Gunmetal Gray. Yeah, Gunmetal Gray from FolkArt Metallics. And then this one is Anita's, and this one's actually called a Galvanized Tin. So we're going to use these today, right now. And I'm just going to come out of the lid. So I'm using a Q-tip here, and I'm just going to dabble a little on there. And using the same Q-tip, I'm going to come over to this. You can see it just gave it a little extra something something there rather than the flat gray color. So I'm going to hit this with the heat gun. Alright, so now to apply them. So my thought is to apply them like this. This is Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel. There you go. And the last step is we're going to come back and I'm just going to use the bottom of this paintbrush as a dotting tool, and right where that seam aligns, I'm going to try to put just 2 little dots. Let's go here and here. If I had the little pearls that Dollar Tree sold, the little flat back ones that they sell, sometimes, excuse me, sorry. Sometimes they sell them on the sticker sheet or on the roll. I would likely use that. All right. So there you have that little detail. I'm just gonna set that to dry, and then we'll put it all together. I absolutely love the end result. Not only is this piece decorative, but it's also functional. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe and choose all notifications so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, love, inspire, create. See you next time.